What's the horsepower gain on mid-pipes or a catback exhaust on the 8Y RS3 with RS exhaust? So the way these cars work, and we talk about this all the time, is the factory ECU requests a certain amount of torque from the engine. And so no matter what you do to make the engine more powerful, the ECU is gatekeeping the amount of power and performance that the engine can produce. So even if you remove the exhaust completely, let's say the exhaust has 20 horsepower of restriction in it at any given boost level, the factory ECU will lower boost by about 20 horsepower to keep the torque in line with what it is requesting and wanting. So the only way to get more power on an 8Y RS3 or any Audi produced since pretty much the 90s is to reprogram the ECU while improving or increasing the airflow or efficiency of the engine or the engine's combustion. And so it stands to reason if you have a tune or calibration and you put a less restrictive exhaust on, that you could gain some amount of power based on the fact that the ECU is now programmed to produce more torque than it was stock. I don't think mid-pipes are that restrictive. We produce mid-pipes as a way to make the car louder or more audible. As an aside, that's somewhat vanity, right? Just you want to hear your car, you want other people to hear your car when you get on the throttle. But something I don't hear a lot of people talk about is when you're driving, as a driver, it's very helpful to know what engine speed the engine is operating at any given moment. So say you're going into a corner and yes, you could look down at the tachometer, but if you're driving anywhere near the limit, that's really less than ideal to have to take your eyes off the road. Even for a split second, 100 meters could go by the time you look down and look back up. So this is something when we're on track, a lot of the reason we do Res X and louder exhaust is so that we can hear the engine, and when we're going in downshifting or when we're entering a corner, we want to know, are we at 2,500 RPM or 4,500 RPM? It's a big difference, and you can tell the load on the engine by hearing the exhaust note, especially with some experience. So that's a big benefit, but that was just a little aside. So again, any kind of exhaust modification you make on a stock 8Y RS3 or Audi is not going to produce additional power unless you pair it with a calibration, and then it's just going to be up to whatever exhaust system. But I would say for the average stage 1 car, the power gains, like a stage 1 tuned ECU, the power gains from any exhaust on the market is going to be pretty much zero. I mean, very, very minimal, maybe a few horsepower or something like that. But the companies that sell exhausts don't really tell you what the power gain will be with whatever tune, so that's something that isn't super well established.